this is Terry Ewell. I'm so pleased that the International Double Reed Society has included the Böddecker Sonata as a selection for the Gillet Fox competition on bassoon in 2022. I had planned to perform the work and produce a few videos on the work during the 2020 COVID period, but I didn't have time to complete them. Seeing the piece on the list, however, has prompted me to quickly present a couple of videos to help those preparing for the competition. This video will present an overview of the sonata, and the next video will focus on ways in which to perform and practice the difficult meter change in the third variation. Let's begin with a close look at the introduction to the Universal Edition of the work by William Waterhouse. William Waterhouse is one of the greatest scholars we have had performing the bassoon, and his notes are very important for the work. Notice that Böddecker wrote the sonata as a chamber work for violin, bassoon, and continuo. Continuo is a group of instruments, which would include harpsichord and cello, or harpsichord and bass. It was not composed originally just for bassoon and piano. In the Universal Edition, the piano part has double duty, providing the continuo line in the left hand with some harmonies in the left and right, and the La Monica melody in the upper voice in the right hand. The bassoon part originally starts on the upbeat to measure 13, but in this version provides the melody in the beginning. I hope that someday you will be able to perform the version as originally conceived. It is marvelous that way. The violin would play the La Monica melody throughout the work, with the bassoon providing an elaborate accompaniment. The continuo, cello, and harpsichord would then perform the bass line, and the harpsichord would provide the additional harmonies. I've provided some accompaniments on 2reed.net that give my version of the sonata with violin and continuo. I hope that you enjoy that. Böddecker's sonata is one of the earliest works written for bassoon, and it comes from the Baroque period. As is the case with works from that period, you will need to consider to what extent you want to recognize performance practices at the time. Will you perform with vibrato, for instance? Bassoonists at that time did not make use of the continual vibrato we associate with bassoon performance today. My preference for Baroque period works is to shape notes through dynamics and articulation rather than vibrato. Another question: will you provide ornamentation? Most Baroque works expected added diminutions or ornaments supplied by the performer. In this work, however, with the rhythmic complexities and saturation of 16th and 32nd notes, there are just a few opportunities for ornaments. Places to consider ornamentation would be during repetitions of the melody in the opening. Also, you could consider ornaments in the repetitious figures such as those in measures 52 to 53, 55 to 59, and several areas in variation 4, which is measures 85 to 102. One characteristic of Baroque performance practice is that each performer was expected to bring something unique to the performance. In addition to those items mentioned above, articulations in the work provide great opportunity for self-expression. The facsimile page provides the music starting at measure 88 and ending in measure 110. Notice that not a single articulation mark is included in the solo part in the facsimile, the original music. In his foreword, Waterhouse notes that articulations in the solo part of the Universal Edition are given by him. You should feel free to perform with different articulations, provided that they meet practices of the Baroque period. For instance, in measures 80 to 82, Waterhouse provides articulations with 2 slurred and 2 tongued notes, which is more of a classical period than Baroque period articulation. I prefer 3 slurred and 1 tongued notes in those areas, with the 3 stepwise notes slurred. In the Baroque period, it is more common to slur adjacent notes, particularly 3 notes together. You should consider varying the articulation in measures 52 to 60. For instance, alternating measures with staccato notes with those with slurs from the 16th to the dotted eighths are possible. Even without ornamentation added, this provides some extra interest to a section that is rather unimaginative.
I have already created many materials that could aid you in the performance of this and other Baroque works. There are dozens of links to videos, instructions on ornamentations, simple cadenzas, and a few of my performance editions for Baroque music. Please have a look at toread.net for further information.